Welcome back to the deep dive. If you're navigating the complex world of IVF, you definitely know the research feels endless. And let's be honest, nothing seems quite as overwhelming, maybe even expensive, as that supplement aisle. It feels like a total minefield, right? Promises, acronyms, claims everywhere. So today, we're doing a deep dive into supplements and IVF, really trying to sort the science from the noise.
That's exactly the plan. We've looked through the sources, and the goal here is really to cut through all that confusion. We want to pull out those crucial evidence-based nuggets. What actually seems to work, what you should probably avoid, and surprisingly, how important timing is. Think of this as getting those aha moments about creating a nutrient plan that's right for you without sifting through hundreds of conflicting articles yourself.
Okay, so before we jump into specific ingredients, maybe we should establish the big picture, like the fundamental principle we saw across all the research.
Absolutely. It's key. Supplements are supportive. They help optimize things, but they aren't curative. They're not magic bullets.
Right, so they won't fix, say, blocked tubes or something structural like that.
Exactly. Or, fully undo the damage from long-term habits like smoking. You need that healthy foundation first. Supplements then work on top of that foundation to potentially enhance things.
Okay, that sets the stage perfectly for where we need to start. Safety and talking to your doctor.
Yeah.
If there was just one piece of advice here, the absolute must-do rule.
It's simple and it's non-negotiable. You must talk to your fertility specialist before starting any supplement, even something that seems harmless, like, I don't know, vitamin C.
Why is that so critical? Is it just about wasting money?
Wasting money is one thing, but the real danger is interference. That's the big concern.
Interference.
Okay.
That sounds a bit scary. We tend to think of supplements as, natural and safe, but the sources pointed out some serious risks if you don't tell your clinic everything you're taking. What kind of risks are we talking about?
Well, there are really three main areas. First, messing with your actual IVF protocol. Certain supplements, maybe DHEA or even high-dose vitamin E, can actually change your hormone levels, like estrogen or progesterone. And your clinic relies on those levels being exactly right to time your medications perfectly.
Wow. Okay, so you could be on these super expensive IVF drugs, and that supplement you added, thinking you were helping, could actually throw the whole cycle timing off, maybe even mean starting over.
Precisely. You're undermining the clinic's careful plan. The second big risk area is during procedures. Some things like ginkgo biloba or even high doses of fish oil can thin your blood, which, increase the risk of bleeding during egg retrieval or other procedures.
That makes total sense.
Right.
Okay, and the third risk, I think I saw something about lab tests.
Yes, this one's subtle, but potentially really problematic. High-dose biotin. It's popular, for hair and nails. But taking too much can actually interfere with the lab assays used for hormone or thyroid tests.
So the results the doctor gets back might be completely wrong.
Exactly. Imagine your doctor gets a falsely low estradiol reading because of undisclosed biotin. Based on that wrong number, they might increase your stimulation meds unnecessarily. That could potentially put you at risk for something serious like OHSS, ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome, all from a skewed test result.
That is a huge realization. It really changes that whole natural equals harmless idea.
It really should. And we need to remember, supplements aren't regulated like prescription drugs. The quality control just isn't the same. What's on the label might not match what's in the bottle in terms of dose or purity. So if you're going through IVF, look for brands that show proof of third-party testing, like USP or NSF seals. It's an extra layer of reassurance.
And quickly on the topic of research, what about online forums and groups? Great for support, but maybe risky for medical advice.
Oh, absolutely. They are fantastic for connecting with people who get it. That emotional support is invaluable. But medical advice really has to come from your healthcare team. IVF is so personalized. It's tailored to your specific situation, your blood work, your diagnosis, maybe your AMH levels.
And just to clarify for anyone new, AMH is anti-Mullerian hormone, sort of a measure of ovarian reserve.
That's right. It's one key piece of the puzzle for your doctor. Taking advice based on someone else's AMH or their PCOS diagnosis, for example, could be useless for you or potentially even harmful.
Okay. Safety first, consult your doctor, watch out for interactions, look for quality. Got it. Now let's get to the good stuff. The supplements that seem to have the most solid evidence behind them, the foundational four, maybe?
Yeah, these four come up consistently because they target basic cellular and hormonal health, which is, fundamental for fertility.
Number one has to be folic acid, right?
Folic acid, vitamin B9, absolutely essential. primarily known for preventing neural tube defects in pregnancy. The usual advice is around 400 to 800 micrograms daily. But there's a nuance here. Some people have a common gene variation, MTHFR, which affects how their body processes folic acid.
So wait, if you have that MTHFR thing, you could be taking the standard folic acid dutifully, and your body might not actually be using it properly. You could still be functionally low.
That's exactly the concern. For those individuals, the active form, L-methylfolate, is often recommended. It basically bypasses that conversion step the body struggles with. That's why personalized advice, maybe based on testing, is so important.
Fascinating. Okay, next up, the one everyone talks about for egg quality, coenzyme Q10.
Ah, yes, CoQ10. It's probably the most popular antioxidant for both egg and sperm quality. Think of it like fuel for the mitochondria, the little energy factories inside your cells, including eggs and sperm. As we age or with certain conditions, those mitochondria can become less efficient. CoQ10 helps support their energy production and fights oxidative stress.
So it's really about cellular energy and protection. Makes sense. Next, vitamin D.
Vitamin D is so much more than just for bones. It acts like a hormone in the body. And studies do link low levels, generally under 30 nanograms per milliliter, with poorer IVF outcomes. It seems to play a role in hormone balance and also in endometrial receptivity, basically, how welcoming the uterine lining is. If you're deficient, your doctor will likely recommend a specific, sometimes higher dose to get your levels up.
Okay, and the fourth key player you mentioned was inositol.
Yes, inositol. Often it's a combination of myo-inositol and dichiro-inositol. This one gets particular attention for women with PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. It's been shown to help improve insulin sensitivity and ovarian function, which can, in turn, help regulate cycles and improve egg quality for those women.
All right, the foundational four. Now let's get into something you mentioned earlier that sounds critical, the timing. This is where you said things get really interesting and maybe where people often go wrong.
This is probably the biggest misconception. It leads to so much wasted effort and money. You have to understand the timelines involved. Reproductive cells don't mature overnight. Egg development from the very early stage to maturation takes roughly 90 days. And sperm production, spermatogenesis, is similar, around 70 to 90 days.
90 days. Okay, so if I start taking, say, CoQ10 today, and my egg retrieval is next month, I'm basically too late for those eggs. I'm supplementing the eggs that were developing 3 months ago, not the ones about to be retrieved.
You absolutely nailed it. You're supplementing the previous batch, essentially. So for most of these supplements aimed at improving egg or sperm quality, you need consistent use for at least 1 to 3 months before the procedure. Ideally, closer to 3 months to cover that full development cycle. It requires planning ahead.
That is such a crucial point. Plan ahead. 3 months. Wow. That focus on timing leads us perfectly into personalized plans, because it sounds like one-size-fits-all doesn't really work here.
Not optimally, no. The best approach is tailored, based on your blood tests, your specific diagnosis, maybe factors like your AMH level. Let's take PCOS again as an example.
Right. What else besides inositol might be considered for PCOS?
Well, beyond inositol, which we mentioned, often in that 40.1 myo to D-chiro ratio, omega-3 fatty acids are frequently recommended. They help reduce inflammation and can improve insulin sensitivity, both common issues in PCOS. And another one is N-acetylcysteine, or NAC. It's an antioxidant that also shows promise for improving insulin resistance in women with PCOS.
So the PCOS strategy is really tackling those underlying metabolic and inflammatory aspects. Okay, let's switch gears to male fertility. Often overlooked, but responsible for so many cases of infertility. Supplements seem really key here too.
Absolutely crucial, especially when the goal is improving specific sperm parameters count, motility, morphology, even DNA fragmentation. Sperm DNA is quite vulnerable to damage from oxidative stress. So antioxidants are front and center. That means CoQ10 again, but also vitamin C, vitamin E. They help protect the sperm's genetic material. And then key minerals like zinc and selenium are vital for sperm production and structure.
And the sources were really clear. For guys, supplements alone aren't enough. Lifestyle is huge.
It's non-negotiable. Smoking has got to stop. Alcohol needs to be significantly limited. These things are toxins that directly deplete the very nutrients you're supplementing with and dramatically increase oxidative stress. So taking expensive antioxidants while still smoking or drinking heavily, it's counterproductive. You're canceling out the benefits. And remember that 3-month cycle for sperm too, a repeat semen analysis after about 3 months of consistent supplement use is how you track if it's actually making a difference.
Good point. Tracking progress is key. Okay, final area for personalization. Implantation. After all the work getting good embryos, we need them to stick. What helps support the uterine lining?
Success here is definitely linked to a healthy receptive lining, ideally aiming for that 7 to 14 millimeter thickness you often hear about. So supplements thought to improve blood flow to the uterus can be helpful. Vitamin E and L-arginine are sometimes used for this. Omega-3s come up again for their anti-inflammatory effects, supporting the overall health of the lining. And of course, folic acid is important here too for general cell growth and supporting endometrial development.
Okay, this brings us to our last section, monitoring, safety revisited, and what happens next. With all these supplements, different doses, maybe different brands, how do you know if your personalized plan is actually working?
Right, it's not just about feeling better, though that's nice. We need objective measures. So effectiveness is tracked using clinical indicators. Repeat blood tests are key, checking vitamin D levels again, maybe hormone levels like estradiol, sometimes even AMH, and of course, ultrasound monitoring. That lets the clinic see follicle development and, crucially, measure that endometrial thickness we just talked about.
And one really practical tip we saw was keeping a supplement journal.
Yes, I highly recommend this. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly useful. Keep a daily log, what you took, the dose, the brand, and critically note any side effects or changes you notice, even subtle ones, maybe a headache, changes in your cycle, gut issues. This information is gold for your doctor. It helps them spot potential negative interactions quickly and adjust your plan precisely.
Makes sense. Now, the big question, when do you stop taking all this stuff? Do you keep taking CoQ10 throughout pregnancy?
That's where reevaluation at each stage is vital. Some things, like your prenatal vitamin with folic acid, usually continue right through pregnancy. But many of the optimization supplements, like high-dose antioxidants, CoQ10, specific herbs, are often adjusted or stopped after egg retrieval, or definitely before an embryo transfer. Part of this is to reduce any lingering bleeding risk, but also because the effects on a developing embryo might not be fully known or necessary anymore. So you absolutely need to review your entire list with your medical team as you move through the different phases of IVF and potential pregnancy.
And just briefly, what about long-term safety? If someone's trying for a while, taking CoQ10 for, say, 6 months or a year,
That's a good question. For common things like B vitamins or vitamin D, there's generally good long-term safety data in the general population. But for many fertility-specific supplements, most research focuses on shorter-term use, typically those 3 to 12-month periods around IVF cycles and outcomes. We don't always have extensive data on taking high doses of everything for years and years, which is another reason why that ongoing discussion and reevaluation with your doctor is just so important.
okay, this has been incredibly insightful. We've gone from the overwhelming supplement aisle to, hopefully, a clearer path toward a personalized plan. I think the main takeaway for you, our listener, seems to be combine that healthy lifestyle foundation with a smart, evidence-based supplement strategy, but always guided by the science and, most importantly, by your own fertility clinic.
Absolutely. And just to be crystal clear, everything we've discussed today is for informational and educational purposes only. It is definitely not a substitute for professional medical advice. You should always consult your own doctor for personalized advice tailored to your specific health situation and needs.
And for more comprehensive information covering the entire IVF journey, not just supplements, you can find resources at the portal IVF for Me. That's IVF4me.com.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.